Welcome back. It's Christine with Muletown Designs, and we're here today to paint another pattern from for barn quilting. And today we had such a great response to the last video that I did that I had a request to learn how to draw out the golden afternoon pattern that I sell in the shop. Now, this has also been known as the Texas rose or the Oklahoma rose, but to be honest, I think every state kind of adopts this as their own flower pattern. Either way, if you do know the real name of the quilt pattern, please comment below of the video because I would really love to know what it's called. So now this one is, this is going to be the pattern for today. It's a beautiful one. It's really pretty, especially in class. This is one of the most popular ones that is painted. And everyone seems to do a different color combination, and each one of them turns out gorgeous. So I will let you know, it looks hard, but it's not quite as hard as it looks. So follow along with me step by step. I'll get you all the way to the end so you can see exactly how it looks on your board. And if you're ready to paint this pattern but don't have a board, I do offer boards in the shop online at www.muletowndesigns.com, and you can go into shop and look up blank boards. The boards are all sanded and primed, and the backs of them are going to be urethane, so if you use exterior paints, those barn quilts are going to be ready to go, put outside, and can decorate your house or your garden, and they're just gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and post this on Facebook. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if anything is not clear. Happy to clear that up for you. And also, please let me know what the next pattern is that you would like to paint and see how it gets put on the board, because I really love to do this for y'all. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you need to know about painting this pattern is it is really deceptively easy. It looks complicated, but really it's based on a grid pattern, and anytime you have it based on a grid pattern, it's actually quite simple to be able to draw it out. So let's see if we can pick out the grid pattern in the picture that we have below. If you'll take a look, you're going to start to see some squares emerge here. And if you look at those squares, you'll see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares across. And you'll have the same up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you take a look at this, this will show you exactly what we're going to draw on your grid pattern. So you'll see you have the 8 squares across here, and you have the 8 squares down here. So if you transfer that over to your grid paper, that's what we're going to do right now. So I have a grid paper here that's 10 squares by 10 squares. So we're going to put the flower pattern within this grid square. So we need to go ahead and count out the squares that we're going to need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now when you go on your board, you're going to measure out the length of your board, which can be well, just whatever the length is, because I know everyone does different sizes. And then you're just going to divide the total length of your board by 8. And then you'll use equal measurements to make little marks on the board. So you'll make little marks at the bottom of the board on each side. And then what I have participants in class do is once they have their marks, they'll take their ruler and they'll draw in their lines. Okay, but we have that here already on the grid paper. So looking back at this pattern, this is kind of your cheat sheet, because this really shows to you exactly what every square is going to look like. So like we did in the last one, we are just going to go square by square by square to see what either we put no line or we put a diagonal one way or the other. So let's start with this top row right here. I usually have class participants start in one corner and then we just go one row, 2 rows, and we'll just go all the way down until we get to the end. And when they get to the end, then they see the entire pattern emerge. So if we're looking at the first square, we have no lines in here. So we're going to leave this one blank. Oh, and before we go on, let me go ahead and I'll draw the lines in for our pretend board so you can see better. And then, of course, these grid lines in here are going to stand in for your pencil lines that you have drawn on your board. Okay, so let's get back to the first square right here will be nothing. Your second square here, we have nothing. Your third square over has a diagonal line. So you take your ruler and draw on your line just in that square. Now the fourth square over goes the opposite direction. And then the next one will go back the other direction. And back the opposite direction. And then the last 2 squares will have nothing in there. So if you'd like to follow along with me, I'll continue to put all of our diagonal lines in there until we get to the very end, and then I'll show you how we're going to color it in. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is fill in some of these grid lines. Since These lines will be pencil as well on your board. I'm going to fill in some of these just so you can see the pattern a little better. Okay, now the way to put these little tips of the inside of the flower is I usually just pick a measurement and stick with it. So on a 2x2 board, I will measure in about an inch or half an inch or an inch from the corner right here, and I just would take the ruler and just draw them in. So it doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure it's consistent all the way around. And you'll also see that I made a mistake right there. So it happens to the best of us. We're just gonna go ahead, if we had pencil, I would just erase that since it is just a little mistake. But I'm just gonna color over that with the markers. And now I'll show you how to color it in. And these sections right here, I usually just paint in a white or off-white just for a background color. But again, really, you can take this pattern and you can do whatever you like with it. So please feel free to change the colors around. I've seen many different color combinations in class and every single one of them comes out absolutely beautiful. But that is how you draw out and paint the Golden Afternoon flower pattern. If you have any questions, I'm going to post this on Facebook, so please feel free to comment below and let me know if there's anything that I have not made very clear. But I'm really glad that you could join me today. And please let me know any other patterns that you'd like a quick video on. I would love to do them for you. Thanks so much.